Hi, I'm Janet Conner-Knox, here with Talking with Janet. There are times you might feel like you just feel a little bit sad, and it keeps going and going, and you just think, I'll shake this funk after all. Well, it could be that you're suffering from depression. We're here with Dr. Leon Johnson, who is a psychotherapist, and he says that treatment is painless. It's just the notion of treatment that people don't like. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for being here today.
Welcome to the newest dialogue in politics, community news, human interest stories, entertainment, and information from Eastern North Carolina. Janet Conner-Knox is an award-winning journalist with more than 25 years' experience in print, radio, and television. This is Talking with Janet.
We're here with Dr. Leon Johnson, and he is a psychologist, psychotherapist, and he did a program in Pitt County, and it dealt with African American men and mental health. And we're here today to talk about mental health. And I'd like to say, Dr. Johnson, people may not always realize that they need help mentally, because it's not like a broken arm. You know, you have to go, or you know, if you're bleeding, you know, you've got to go. So how do you connect? How do you know?
Mental health is an internal issue. It's more of a situation, whereas you can feel it. It's not something that is external, something that you can see, something that is more physical. Mental health is a more social or emotional type of internal type of feeling or thought, idea. It's something that's within a person that changes their behavior from inside out. Whereas other things we may see or do, such as a broken arm, as your example, that's something that's external. You can see that, you can feel that, you can, you know. But this is a feeling from within a person's body, soul, and spirit. I
know that I had, like everyone in the world, had gone through several kinds of instances, and then I read something about, are you depressed? And I read those things and I went, oh my goodness, that was me. Sure. And so people are depressed and will be healthy, and certain things can happen and they'll become depressed.
Absolutely.
Am I correct?
Depression has no limits, has no boundaries. It doesn't have a specific area. It crosses all cultural, social, religious, whatever. There's no line that it won't cross. Depression or any other anxiety-related mental illness tends to be something that starts out in a minute stage. It grows because it's untreated. It's not treated at that stage level, so therefore it grows. It's just like a cancer. It's something that continues to manifest while untreated.
There's a lady I know that just was separated from her job almost a year ago, and she said that she noticed that it was difficult for her to just clean house, to do just, it was just difficult. It became extremely difficult. When you say it manifests itself and it can only get worse, does that mean that she needs medication? Does that, I mean, I know you can't speak to her specifically.
Sure.
We're certainly not trying to diagnose anyone here today. Yeah. But I'm just saying, how does that get worse? Or what does a person do? They've lost their job, or they've had a significant loss and things are changing.
Well, hypothetically speaking, when you have a case like that, when you go through issues of that stage, there's 3 levels of depression. There's mild, moderate, and severe. Now, once it hits the severe stage, it becomes allostatic, which is a severe level of anxiety. Allostatic load is a condition whereas you've lost control. Now it requires medication, med management, hospitalization. It requires intensive treatment that would help arrest those symptoms and to help you gain control of your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, ideas, that sort of thing, and put it within perspective. Now, of course, the medication is designed to help you to perhaps sleep, to relax and to get enough sleep, because with depression, you lack a lot of things, such as sleeping, eating, nutrition. All those things become out of control. So your body's not responding well, and it affects you physically.
How do you go from being broken, as far as mental health is concerned, and to becoming healthy again? How do you do that?
Well, depending on the level of treatment, when you enter into treatment, if it becomes, if you come into treatment, if you enter into treatment at a severe level, then it would need medication management, obviously. But if it's at a mild or moderate rate of entry, then you can do it with psychotherapy.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go on.
And so, through those channels, those are the two channels that I would consider to be the most appropriate way. Now, of course, there's another channel called involuntary commitment, which is through a legal channel, which you're forced by the courts to enter some type of treatment due to erratic behaviors, severe conditions like schizophrenia and stuff like that.
When we talk about men, in general, they don't like going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And so what is that considered, like a weakness? And I think it's a weakness to go?
It tends to be, it's viewed as a sign of lack of masculinity, if you will. Some men feel that they are not in control, they feel that they can handle all their problems, but it's to the contrary. It shows a sign of strength when you do enter into programs such as this. It shows a sign of making good decisions, and you're in control of what's going on in your life, and you're able to do that through your decision-making process. But when you fail to do that, it's quite evident that you're not able to make those good decisions.
You talk about African American males
Yes.
needing lots of. Tell me about that. Is that just due to the pressures of everyday life?
I think that due to historically African American men has always been challenged to provide for their family, to be the head of their home, to be strong, and to be so many other things. But we can be strong in so many venues, and it doesn't have to be physical. We can be strong mentally. We can be strong socially. We can be strong psychologically. In so many ways, we can be strong and be able to do the very same things we can do even physically. We can also do things that sometimes mentally we cannot do physically through our strength.
So what happens if a wife sees her husband and she says, you know what, I think you need to see somebody? He's going to be offended. How do you know what I mean? He's like,
and depending on the culture,
you need to see somebody.
Yeah, and depending on the culture, some cultures, even in Latino cultures, because I serve a lot of Latinos and male, boys and girls, and men and women. But in the Latino culture, there's the same condition.
Machismo.
Yeah, the same thing as it is in the African American culture. There's a resistance that goes on, and helping them to understand that you don't have to do that in order to accomplish or to obtain wellness.
So what happens? What are families seeing then, and their men? Where they, you probably do need some help. What kinds of signs are they showing?
Well, the signs also are the change of behavior, their patterns of sleeping, eating, dieting, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, their behavior, attitude. This is just a host of things that go on within that person's psychic that causes the change that will spark a interest in saying, wait a minute, this is not normal.
And so what does a wife or a girlfriend or a lover do? What do they do?
Well, I think the first thing they do is sit down and talk to the individual and see if they're receptive to treatment, voluntarily, okay? If not, then you may have to reach out to a licensed professional to find out the specialties or what they offer in their practice. You want to make sure that where you go, you want to investigate where you're talking about going. You want to make sure, first of all, they're licensed by the state that you're living in. Number two, that they're insured. And number three, that they know what they're doing. In other words, they have expertise. Now, if someone says to you in this field of psychotherapy, I'm eclectic, the first thing I suggest to you is turn around and run. You should not be eclectic whatsoever. I think you should have a specialty. You should be a specialist. If you have a problem with your foot, you need to see a podiatrist, okay? You don't need to see a heart doctor or cardiologist. You want to see someone who specializes in what you need and what is ailing you.
And what is your specialty?
My specialty deals with, first of all, I deal with trauma. I have a large specialty in trauma. So I deal with a lot of people like PTSD, OCD, I deal with childhood trauma, domestic violence, things of that nature, court-ordered issues. I also deal with family and marriage. I deal with other components as well. But my specialties are limited. Now, I do work from a modality such as the Adlerian approach. Now, when some people say, well, you know, what do you do? How do you treat a person? Well, the first thing I tell people is ask that clinician, what is your theoretical foundation? That's the question that will make them think, okay, this person want to know what do I work from? What foundation do I work from? If they say eclectic, run. And number two, if they have like 3 or 4 or 5 of them, you might want to say, okay, this person's trying to be eclectic. You need about 2 or 3 at the most. That's it. You need no more because the foundations are so broad that you would have to know everything about those foundations in order to...
How hard is it to find all those things out, though?
Well, a lot of schooling, ongoing schooling.
So if you have a person who's they're struggling through their life and they're noticing their spouse, oh my gosh, I think something's wrong with their kid, there's something wrong. I mean, they've got so much to deal with anyway. How do you find someone?
Well, you know, they have a thing called psychology today, which is a very wonderful vetting process. It eliminates a lot of the red tape. It narrows down certain people's specialties, and it has a list of all the clinicians, even in your area.
Okay. And that's called what again?
Psychology Today.
Psychology Today.
Yeah.
Very quickly, because I know people who are often, they look at their children and say, why did you do that? And kids say, I don't know. You say, my God, my kid is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, when I was growing up, they would say crazy.
Sure.
They didn't have the different diagnoses.
Right. And
So,
yeah, and today's society, or at least in this profession, you should never hear a clinician say crazy.
okay, all right.
Maladaptive, yes.
Okay.
Because maladaptive is not normal. That's what that means. It's not normal. It's not typical. It's not, you know, something that you would typically do. So you might want to say you have maladaptive behavior.
Maladaptive behavior,
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Your kid has maladaptive behavior.
Yeah, so you might want to consider that,
Yes.
but not crazy.
Not crazy.
Because it sends out a stigma.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful of that.
Well, we'd like to thank you. I'm sorry we've run
Sure.
out of time. It's Dr. Leon Johnson. He is a psychotherapist, and if you would like to get in contact with him because of the maladaptive behaviors in your household, you can call him at 252-814-6596. Again, that number is 252-814-6596. Thank you, Dr.
You're
Johnson,
welcome.
for being here
You're
with
welcome.
Talking with Janet. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on Talking with Janet, please contact us by email, brothersideent@gmail.com. Leave your name and contact information. Without that, your guest will not be considered.
This has been a Brotherside Entertainment production.